longer can you affix the title of a poor man's bank to the credit union. As it is now, everyone's bank. The credit union is already catering to some of the more affluent Jamaicans, such as Pauline and Raymond Campbell, which will be made clear further down in my speech. They are catering to these people, and if they are, it means they can, Mr. Speaker, and if they can, why not let them? Side governments, the aforementioned financial institution provides similar products and services to facilitate its members. These include loans, investment plans, saving options, debit card, online banking, and many more. Now, side governments, let me ask, what goals do the affluent have? What goals do the more affluent wish to achieve? Mr. Speaker, they aren't just wildly different in their financial goals, but they're also vastly different in interests. A study by Fiserv company Radon found that affluent consumers can be categorized neatly into 3 groups. These are high debt, high asset, and high net worth. Though consumers who fall into these groups are all high income earners, their differences in debt, assets, and net worth levels encourages vastly different financial goals. The high debt consumer generally wants to learn how to reduce spending and debt. This person also wants to focus on either saving for college or paying down loans. The credit union, Mr. Speaker, encourages savings more than any other financial institution in Jamaica. And therefore, side government, the credit union would be the ideal financial institution of choice for high debt consumers to achieve their goals. Additionally, Mr. Speaker, the credit union offers competitive rates and long-term saving rates, which range from 2% to 5%, considerably low, Sir Prime Minister, and affordable for those high debt consumers. Take this example into consideration, side government. Mr. Ted Douglas is a high asset consumer who's an entrepreneur and owner of several homes and commercial properties. He asserts that he would consider to himself to be affluent. However, Mr. Speaker, he finds it beneficial to be a part of the credit union as he wants a financial institution that will provide for him low interest rates, one-on-one personal interaction, and an institution which he can trust. These, Mr. Speaker, he says, are some of the variables he considered when he joined the City of Kingston Sodality Credit Union. He says that he is also a member of NCB, but because of the high interest rates, he prefers the credit union as most are transitioning and have attracted a more affluent clientele. Just a little brush on consumers with a high net worth, Mr. Speaker, as my Deputy Prime Minister will cement this argument. In an interview with Paul Lynn, an accountant and a businessman who has a net worth of over $2 million and receives more than 12 million Jamaican dollars yearly, he says that he is a member of the Manchester Cooperative Credit Union. And may I add, he loves this credit union dearly. He says he is a part of the credit union, Mr. Speaker, because of its concern for community. He says that the credit union allows a relationship between him and his financial institution. The credit union understands him, they understand his needs, and he can associate himself with them as they have formed a one-on-one personal relationship with the credit union. Financial stability, Mr. Speaker. Individuals want financial stability, whether rich or poor. This is what they seek. During the financial meltdown of 1990s, other financial institutions such as Scotia and NCB were negatively affected. While Central National Bank and Eagle Merchant Bank collapsed, some, Mr. Speaker, are still recovering today. Some side governments are yet to recover. However, Mr. Speaker, the former finance minister, the Honorable Dr. Peter Phillips, says the credit union should be lauded for their financial stability, as the credit union was the only financial institution that was not affected by this financial meltdown. Raymond Campbell, partner, adversary at KPMG with an assets base of over 170 million Jamaican dollars, states that at the time of the financial meltdown, his mother was a customer at the Bank of Nova Scotia and lost millions due to this. Therefore, side government, he saw it best to associate himself with a financial institution which is stable, one which he can rely on, and that, Mr. Speaker, is why he is a part of the City of Kingston Sodality Credit Union today. Yes, again, Mr. Speaker, these more affluent individuals want stability, and that is why they choose, and that is why the credit union is the best financial institution for them. Yes, Mr. Speaker, the credit union may be small, but like all other financial institutions, it is developing, as no financial institution is fully developed. And remember, side government, that good things still come in small packages. The credit union offers stability, it offers personalized customer care, and offers services to provide for people from all spheres of society. And they are already catering to the more affluent, and if they can, Mr. Speaker, why not let them? And so the motion, be it resolved that Jamaican credit unions should focus on the lower class and let other financial institutions cater to the more affluent, cannot stand without our opposition. And with this in mind and the points aforementioned, Mr. Speaker, side government, the opposition pauses.
John Hume, a civil rights activist, said, and I quote, "Before the arrival of the credit union, people from poor backgrounds or a working class could not borrow from banks," end quote. Banks were always there, but who did they cater for? Not the poor, I'm sure. The bank's aim is to make huge profits. The lower class in society would be seen as a liability to them rather than an asset. Honorary judges, esteemed guests, timekeeper, colleagues, and our opponents, good morning. Our motion today is a very essential one that needs to be critically analyzed from a societal and even more from an economic perspective. The onus is on us today to substantiate the moot, be it resolved that credit unions should focus on the lower class in society and let the other financial institutions cater to the more affluent. The facets of this statement will be fully explored by providing the multiplicity of benefits that the members, credit unions, and by extension Jamaica can and is gaining from such a focus, whilst refuting the misconstrued arguments as it regards opposite spin from our opponents. This will be validated by showing how the primary goal of Jamaican credit unions is enshrined in such a crucial initiative. To begin with, it has been aforementioned by my first speaker and is undeniable that Jamaican credit union members are overwhelmingly from the lower class of society. Naturally, in whatever case, who you are given to serve, so you must. Certainly, the Jamaican credit union should focus on the lower class, as this means all the members will benefit from their promotions and services which are tailored to their needs. All the members will be satisfied with credit unions, focusing on them by providing great interest rates, low fees, and many other special offers which support the man who needs support the most. Coupled with all the members individually benefiting from credit unions, focusing on their needs which they effectively satisfy, the credit unions across Jamaica benefit holistically as well. Honorary judges, let us reason rationally. It has been mentioned, and is no secret, that the credit union was established to serve the struggling working class. Each one help one. Putting these persons in the right eye corner at the focus most definitely allows the credit union to live up to its primary objective. You may argue to say, why stick with tradition and die? But certainly you have seen where the credit union is surviving and achieving. My opponents, to continue, with the lower class being focused on by credit unions, they are maintaining their reputable standard of serving the working class, which undeniably needs help more than ever with their financial affairs. So the credit unions stray their focus from these persons and adopt a more widespread policy. Can one imagine the financial crises these struggling working class people and even unemployed people be left to face? Oh, what a dire situation this would be on our economy. For what? The sake of focusing on the affluent that is already well off in society? No, honorary judges. We see this as a sad predicament which needs to be evaded. To continue, the credit union should stick to what they do best, which is attracting new members with their special plans, services, and promotions designed to serve the lower class of our nation. They should stick to the good that they know and continue to be a leading financial institution in Jamaica by their contribution to society. The credit union has been a catalyst for change in the Jamaican hemisphere. Certainly, you've seen where they have helped the unemployed, small farmers, teachers, or must I just say, the lower class. In an article entitled Class Structure of Jamaica, it has been statistically proven that the lower class makes up a whole of 75% of society. Credit unions, in keeping with their focus on these persons, are fundamentally keeping their focus on Jamaica and promoting economic growth. And soldiers, not to mention farmers and taxi operators, vendors, and so on. These persons would still fall in the underpaid lower class in society. Factory workers, fishermen, and ancillary workers. These are the founding people of the Jamaican Credit Union. This was confirmed by Brenda Cuthbert in the press reader, the Jamaica Guinea, September 17, 2017, who also mentioned that the credit union movement grew leaps and bounds through the participation of fishermen store clerks. Also, a release from the Department of Cooperatives in Jamaica stated that 100,000 persons in Jamaica are members of 39 agricultural cooperatives, most of which are in the rural areas. Look at these professions. Look at Jamaica. This focus is reaping rewards. Imagine a Jamaica without a financial institution that caters for the lower class, the masses of society. Well, you've just imagined a Jamaica without a credit union, and a Jamaica which would not have a financial institution which engenders a feeling of satisfaction not accepted at this time, from owning that new home or buying that new car or finishing that last year of university. An institution which was not designed for the lower class man who needs help the most, but it was designed to suit the more affluent, which definitely means that the fiscal dealings and nothing whatsoever will be completely soothing for the masses of the Jamaican population. Sad in it, this sad predicament must never be. People are depending on the benefits credit unions offer, those same benefits that made the average man able to achieve a dream and survive. Accepted. Please be duly aware that the credit union was established for the struggling working class. And if we are to include another class of society, then there would be an imbalance in the focus. And we see where the lower class makes up the masses of society. So why not focus on those who are in need? The affluent are already rich. Focus on those who need the money. To continue. People are dependent on the benefits credit unions offer, those same benefits that made the average man able and willing to work. Our working class is contributing greatly to GDP, especially our farmers from within our agricultural sector, which many agricultural cooperatives support. By these honorable judges, we know that it is not the commercial banks that contribute the most to the country's development, but it is the cooperatives, which these lower class income persons depend on. The development of our country greatly depends on the credit union movement to aid these small businesses and local people. Ladies and gentlemen, should we really take this away by focusing on the more affluent in society? Do we see anyone or any other financial institution that is going to rise up and say, We are not for profit. We are here to build each other. In 2013, Michael Burke wrote an article in The Observer to remind us that the Jamaican Credit Union is a part of our heritage, and like all other aspects of our heritage, it should be focused on and preserved, not just in the name, but also in nature. One of those would be to focus on the lower class of society. Honorable judges, the Jamaican Credit Union is one of the best ways of uniting people. People are willing and ready to put their money in to help others and themselves. All profits are reinvested into the credit union. A share of the profit is also given back to each member in the form of an annual dividend. Bank profits go to a small group of shareholders and in most instances are not reinvested into the country within which the bank operates. This happens because the focus is not on the lower class, but the big investors, the affluent. We, the proposition, stand firm and resolute in our stance as such stated. Thank you.
Committed to providing a high level of financial services, devoted to offering advice in order to secure their savings and investments, dedicated to offering competitive financial services to all its members, the Jamaica Cooperative Credit Union League, all protocols observed. Mr. Speaker, it has already been established that most Jamaican credit unions have the capability to cater to both classes of society, the elites and the lower class. May I even add, Mr. Speaker, that Jamaicans, whether affluent or low class, can join financial institutions for various reasons. Whilst the lower class may join a credit union to acquire a mortgage loan, low fee, or even a savings account, an affluent individual may join to ascertain an investment account or a retirement savings account. Mr. Speaker, the proposition would want to highlight the fact that the Jamaica credit unions are no longer deemed the poor man's bank, but now everybody's bank by bringing to this honorable house Scotia's alignment with Canada. But the reality, Mr. Speaker, is that the credit union and Scotia have similar products, and therefore the credit union can cater to lower class and affluent like other commercial banks as the Scotia. Mr. Speaker, as stated by my opposition leader, affluency can be categorized. Let's take a look at high net worth consumers who are typically having the least amount of debt. The primary aim, Mr. Speaker, of such affluent person is to invest money so they can get more money. Mr. Speaker, the credit union has many investment plans, and that will yield such results. In an interview with Mr. Dane Folks, a business development officer at the National Commercial Bank, NCB, Mr. Speaker, stated that investment plans of the credit union is just as viable as the commercial banks, but it has a lower interest rate, and such a deal is attractive to the affluent. These include specials in terms of investment options and also insurance policy superior to that of the NCB. Mr. Speaker, many affluent individuals want to save money for their children and grandchildren's future, and others are dedicated philanthropists who want to focus on community service and charity giving. The credit union, Mr. Speaker, is that viable medium for such investments, according to Mr. Folks. Isn't this a contribution that the credit union is able to cater to the affluent? Indeed it is. Mr. Speaker, we wanted to balance the argument, and so we interviewed Mr. Blackwood, the managing director of the Portmore Cooperative Credit Union. He asserts that the credit union offers a wide range of financial services that can meet the needs and tastes of a broad cross-section of Jamaicans. Hence, one can easily identify a product that suits the affluent and the lower class. Let's take into consideration such products like fixed interest. 1. Fixed deposits. This, Mr. Speaker, enables one to earn a high rate of interest, which is quite beneficial to the affluent. The procedure, Mr. Speaker, is you invest your money, and after the fixed time period, you are able to put to use the savings. This fixed instrument, rather, is what the affluent seek, as it's a contribution to one's financial well-being. Mr. Speaker, I know that the proposition will come and state that this service is offered by other financial institutions, and we know of it. But the fact still remains, Mr. Speaker, that the credit union is able to provide such an attractive service to the affluent. There are disadvantages, and we also know of but in analysis, the advantages outweighs the disadvantages, and guidelines will be put in place to ensure we don't deviate from our core principles. In an interview with Mr. Granville Valentine, a trade unionist and general secretary of National Workers Union, he said he is a part of the City of Kingston Cooperative Credit Union, as well as other financial institutions such as Jamaica National and Scotiabank. An affluent man as himself, Mr. Speaker, stated his preference of the credit union over other financial institutions, as the services offered cater to both classes in equal proportion. He also mentioned he's not perturbed by the grandness of the other financial institution, and as such does his business with the COK Credit Union. Added to that, he stated that the commercial banks have additional fees, then asserted that the commercial banks are now aiming to lower certain interests, like the credit union, in order to compete with the credit union and building societies, so as to attract all people of different classes to improve business. How can the government then say that the credit unions do not serve the more affluent? Mr. Valentine was unmistakably clear that it has, and it will continue to serve the more affluent. 2. Savings account. Mr. Speaker, the credit union savings account include, but is not limited to, permanent shares account and voluntary shares account. The permanent shares account establishes members as part owners, earning dividends from the credit union surplus, while the voluntary shares account is a typical savings account that earns interest and helps to build credit for obtaining loans. Mr. Speaker, in no way are we diminishing the fact that other financial institutions such as Scotiabank offer savings plan to its members. But Mr. Speaker, these institutions, when you have what is termed an inactive account, they subtract from your savings a vast amount. Take, for example, Miss Edna Mitchell, a resident of Trelawney, related that her grandmother was sending money to her NCB account for burial. However, when she was ready to withdraw the money to bury her grandmother, there was no money, as her account was deemed inactive. How is this going to benefit an affluent abroad, Jamaican abroad rather, who is sending their money to these other financial institutions? With the data received, Mr. Speaker, it proves that credit unions are capable of catering to affluent individuals and therefore should not be restricted, boxed in, or stereotyped. At the credit union, Mr. Speaker, funds of the affluent are stable and not volatile. Additionally, a rate that is competitive and attractive is what the affluent seek, and this again is offered by the credit union. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Folks was very candid when he mentioned he was a part of the Manchester Cooperative Credit Union. He also stated that some of his affluent members have moved over to a credit union. Mr. Speaker, let us just look at the typical affluent requirement. Based on our research, Mr. Speaker, the affluent requires one primary thing, and that is to save money, not to spend it, not to ensure that other financial institutions make a profit off them. However, they are skeptic, Mr. Speaker, when it comes down to stability and interest. The other financial institutions have done their part, no doubt. But, Mr. Speaker, the credit union has also been doing its part, and they are fit, Mr. Speaker, to cater to both affluent and the lower class. And with this thought, the opposition pauses.
Alphonso Desjardins says, let it never be forgotten that a credit union is above all else, not an association of people, but of dollars. Panel of adjudicators, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, my opponents, good morning. My task, as you were informed earlier, is to help you understand why is it that the other financial institutions should cater for the affluent, and it should not be the job of the credit union. A few days ago, our principal asked us what our moot was. I told him. He then asked what our stance is. I told him also. He laughed at us and said, every financial institution is about the money, the profit. I said, sir, have you ever heard of the credit union and its purpose, why it was formed and for whom? I share this with you, ladies and gentlemen, to really point out to you that there is one financial institution in Jamaica that is not about the profit, one that people like you and I can stand in confidence and defend. This is our Jamaican credit union, designed for the lower class in society, not for the affluent, rich or wealthy, whichever term you choose to use. Those whose society would consider wealthy were in the initial stage, a part of the commercial banks, and now we have other financial institutions on board. These affluent persons who would deposit their money in credit unions are investors, not just depositors. My opponents, now you give me one very good reason why you think affluent persons like Usain Bolt would put all his money or even half of it in a credit union. You, my opponents, say that the credit union should cater for these more affluent persons, not the other financial institutions not accepted at this moment. You need to be more realistic in your reasoning. How can the credit union cater for the needs of these persons? Even if they increase their loan amount, be it personal, property, or even car loan, they still could not cater for all their needs. When we look at the COK credit union, for example, the maximum amount for home loan is $25 million, while they give a maximum of $3 million for education loan. When we look at affluent Jamaicans like Usain Bolt, who one of his cars value $105,000, Beanie Man's Benz, which values $210,800, not accepted, and when I checked for the value of Beanie Man's house, I got unknown. Now, ladies and gentlemen, do you think his house valued $210,800? Not at all. It would value almost 3 times the amount of his vehicle or more. Which one of our credit unions would be able to cater for his needs? We must bear in mind that our credit unions are not for profit. It's member-owned, so they don't have money like the other financial institutions that do inshore and offshore investments. These affluent Jamaicans still need to make money on their money. We must be realistic to know that wherever they put their money, they will expect to see a profit. Philippine fellow Jin Cook Lee in a US survey says that people don't just jump and put their money anywhere. They put their money in institutions depending on what they want for it. He said, not accepted, if it is just savings, they will go to a commercial bank. If they are going to need a loan for whatever purpose, they will choose a credit union. This report helps credit unions to understand that the reasons people choose and use financial institutions are varied and complex. Therefore, when we see these rich people head into credit union with their large sums of money, they would be seeking a loan soon or some form of investments for profit. The credit union does not allow for the variety of investments that are not accepted, variety of investment that the affluent would want. Institutions such as the NCB Capital Market Limited could cater for them by offering them money market, bond and mutual fund products, as well as cooperative, finance and portfolio management services for individual investors. These types of services are not offered by the credit union, and unlike the lower class, this is what the affluent would want. The affluent wants to own the business. By being a part of the credit union, this would not be easily accomplished. But if they are a part of the other financial institution that can better cater to their needs, it will be best. It is on such premise as looking out for the best interests of all investors and what they need or desire, why we stand resolute in our stance that Jamaican credit union should focus on the lower class and let the other financial institution cater to the more affluent. Thank you.
Mr. Deputy Prime Minister, the bank has indeed adapted to some of the credit unions' policies by lowering their rates and providing loans. But might I add, the more affluent does not need loans. And if the banks are here to only focus on the affluent, then the need for loans, Mr. Speaker, would be irrelevant. Mr. Speaker, credit unions provide exceptional customer service, individualized attention, low interest rates, and higher return rates, and as such, Mr. Speaker, are uniquely positioned to offer to all classes a financial experience they will never find elsewhere. Why then, Mr. Speaker, should it be resolved that Jamaican credit unions should only cater to the lower class? Why should we, side government, rob the more affluent from obtaining such a financial experience? Panel of adjudicators, government members, fellow members of the opposition, audience, a pleasant morning to you all. Mr. Speaker, the affluent seek financial stability, wealth management, low interest rates, high return rates, and exceptional customer service, not loan side government. The affluent do not need loans. In essence, Mr. Speaker, affluent persons seek out the financial institution that enable them to remain affluent and help them to gain affluence also. Credit unions, Mr. Speaker, are the most trusted segment of the financial service industry as they offer stability and security unlike any other financial institution island-wide. This was seen in the financial meltdown of the 1990s, where it was seen that not one credit union suffered. Not one credit union fell, Mr. Speaker. Not one was fin-sacked. Not one. And this is the type of security sought by the affluent. The affluent, Mr. Speaker, demands stability and security such as that offered by the credit union. And why should this House rob them of the opportunity to access the best supplier of such a service? Side government, you seem to believe that low interest rates are only demanded by lower class citizens, but it's demanded by the affluent also, as 25% of high-income earners regularly choose financial institutions based on better interest and return rates, so they are better able to repay debt. So they have more money for investments and are better able to save for their children's and grandchildren's future. The affluent, Mr. Speaker, demand extraordinary customer service. Customers want their financial institutions to know them and remember what they told them, whilst helping them to make better financial choices and reward them with better offers. And there's no financial institution which offers the high level of customer service and confidentiality such as the credit union, and this was the main reason why Mr. Ted Douglas stated that he sees it beneficial to join a credit union. The credit union, Mr. Speaker, is the only financial institution in which the wealthy are sure that they will not be exploited due to the mere fact that credit unions are not for profit. The same cannot be said of the other financial institutions who see customers as sales opportunities rather than as individuals to whom they are providing a utility type of service. This results in them becoming victims of exorbitant hikes in fees in order for banks to make abnormal profits or to compensate for a fall in profits. So why side government should we have the wealthy forced into a lion's den where they will undoubtedly be torn apart like others before them, when we can have the demand of the wealthy being met by the supplier who cater to their needs the most? It is not the credit union who seeks the wealthy, Mr. Prime Minister, but the wealthy who seek the credit union. And on what basis should the credit union turn them away? Credit union offers services similar and in some instances superior to the services offered by the other financial institutions such as National Commercial Bank, Scotiabank, and Victoria Mutual Building Society, with strong security, appeasing rates, and insurance policies. Among others, the credit unions, Mr. Speaker, cater to all Jamaicans, those who are affluent, those who aim to be affluent, and those who were once affluent. And as such, Mr. Speaker, such a discriminatory mood should be disregarded. Credit union side government should be able to provide, as they currently do, services for all individuals, not for profit, but for service. Service exceeding expectation. The opposition rests.
After listening to arguments brought to this honorable house, it is time, Mr. Speaker, to talk. Mr. Speaker, we rubbish the statement that the credit union is the poor man's bank, because no longer is it being termed the poor man's bank, but everybody's bank. Might I even add that the credit union did not go about seeking the affluents. They came to us because of the services we offer, like investment savings. The farmers are still struggling, you say, so focus on them only. Let me mention a stance from the managing director of the Portmore Cooperative Credit Union, who said that loans, that when affluents come to join the credit union, this will account for loans being given to the lower class, who you call farmers. You even mentioned the fact that the credit union is the safest place to have your money, which is the reason why they are able to cater to the needs of the affluents. Don't the affluents need a safe place to save their money? Don't they need a safe place? Don't they need the safest place to invest their money? Affluents don't need loans, Mr. Speaker. And if they want some money to start a business, they can easily access the mature deposit, fixed deposit that they saved with the credit union. We can even liken your statement to that the credit union should only focus on the lower class to the love of a mother for her children. Isn't it possible for a mother to cater to the needs of all 5 children? The mother can, so can the credit union. It is also surviving Sir Deputy Prime Minister, not only because of tradition, but also growth. And the affluents and the lower class are a part of this very growth. Mr. Speaker, catering to the affluent for stability and investment is not a burden to the credit union. Instead, it is of a great help. Let me even remind you, Sir Prime Minister, that the debate is not about who is better able to cater to the financial needs of the affluent, but about whether or not the credit union is able to cater to the more affluent and the lower class. And it is quite evident that they can. I like the idea that you mentioned that the credit union is a not-for-profit organization. You asked the government member for one reason the affluent may go to the credit union: stability. And for some more words: security, investments, partnership plan, and the list goes on. We did not say that the credit union is not going to cater to the lower class, but instead cater to the affluent so the lower class can benefit. And this stance was reiterated by the managing director of the Portmore Cooperative Credit Union. We are no way saying that the credit union should stop facilitating the lower class, but since they side government cater to the more affluent, let them. Don't discriminate. Don't stereotype. Let them. The opposition rests.
Unwavering we stand in our proposition to the motion. The clashes of today's debate were effectively driven home by the proposition. The opposition leader vehemently professed that the credit union should no longer be constricted to the realms of a poor people bank. This point was already dispelled by the leader of the proposition, who stated the primary objective of the credit union, which is to focus on the lower class of society, not denying the affluent a chance, but showing that the aim is to build Jamaica from its root, the masses of society, the lower class. And if Jamaica's population is made up mainly of members of the lower class, why not have financial institutions focusing on them? Why not have institutions who put their need first? Why not have institutions which make them a priority? The deputy opposition leader asserted many controversial points as regards to the benefits of credit union, trying to show how they are better for the affluent. This was dispelled too by the third speaker of the proposition, noting that affluent persons need a financial institution that are able to rally around with their fiscal affairs, paying their debts online, transferring money to institutions which they require. The second speaker of the proposition elucidated the vast array of benefits that are there to reap for the members of the credit unions, for the members of society, for Jamaica. We are here to build our economy, build it from the root. The financial institution has a part to play. The credit union is playing the biggest part. Allow them to service the lower class members of society. This notion was also dispelled. We showed clearly how the members of the credit unions are benefiting and society at large. The opposition failed miserably to show how the affluent needs are rest solely on savings and not a need for loans. If we are here as an affluent member and we want to grow affluence, it does not rest only on savings, because that is what you already have, but it rests on investment. Take loans to invest. We want big loans as affluent persons. Can the credit unions offer those big loans? Can the credit unions finance those? We stated clearly the loan amount which is available from the credit unions. What can the credit union offer to the affluent to substantiate this need? Your second speaker also asked, what are the terms we turn away the more affluent? We also want you to be here and aware to understand that the credit union is not turning away anyone, because the safest place to have your money is in the credit union. We have already seen in our history where the commercial banks fell in crisis, and as a result, people need to protect their money. Even if the affluent knows that the credit union is the safest place to put their money, but as said before, in terms of loan, they would be in the same loan class as the lower people of society. We want to show you clearly that the lower class members of society are the ones being affected most. Provide for them. Show them that they are your priority. Build Jamaica. I thank you.
Could you put your hands together one more time for the teams? I am not even going to comment about this match. I am going to leave it to the judges. But one thing I will say, I enjoyed this. I thoroughly enjoyed this. Put your hands together again for them. Thank you, and teammates. I indeed enjoy this. So the judges will retire to their corner in order to deliberate, and we will have the scores in a few. In the meantime, let me say that we have another match coming up, so I want our viewers who are watching via Facebook to stay tuned. We have the deliberations taking place so that we can have the results for our first match. We do have our second match coming up between Mayday High and Belair High. So we want our viewers to remain online so you can enjoy another round of matches just like we have enjoyed so far. In the meantime, while the judges are deliberating, I think I will hand out some prizes. So I have 3 tokens that I want to give away today. And of course, you know I like to give you the riddles, right? You know I like to give you the riddles, right? Okay. No man, you guys can answer. You guys can answer. The teachers can't, of course, but you guys can answer. So, and this is not discriminatory. This is letting us realize that, okay, the students are the ones that are working right now. Yes, the teachers are working, but today you're facilitators, right? And the workers are the students. Agreed, students? No, you would back me up. So, our first riddle. What is round like a biscuit and busy like a bee? What is round like a biscuit and busy like a bee? Na 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 na. No, not car tires, not at all. Try again. Round like a biscuit, busy like a bee. And I'm not going to put my cameraman in this one at all. Because I think he probably knows the answer, so no. Round like a biscuit, busy like a bee. Think about it. Round like a biscuit, busy like a bee. Something that is busy, but it's round like a biscuit. No, not your eyeball at all. No, that's a funny one though. Not your eyeball. Any hints? Any hints? Somebody's right. Can I tell you? All right. Let me see if I can give you a little hint. Wow. I'm trying to give you a hint that won't give away the answer. Round like a biscuit, busy like a bee. My grandfather has one. Our grandfathers probably had one. I don't know. No, not a pear tree. A pear tree is round? Yes. And it comes in different types. So it's not, you have, these days it's not only round, but it's round and it's square and it's a clock. Thank you. Put your hands together for him. Come and collect your prize. It's a clock. A clock is round like a biscuit and it is busy like a bee. It's always ticking. Tick, 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 tick. You ever hear a clock that's not ticking unless it is broken? All right. 2 more questions. Let me see if I can make it not as hard as that one. Why do we have to go to bed?
Well, that's the question.
Yes. Why do we? Simple as that. Come and get your prize. as simple as that. The bed cannot come to us. All right. So one final one. All right. Let us see. Let's see. Which 2 letters in the alphabet are never sick? Never sick. Which 2 letters in the alphabet are never sick? No. Which 2 letters in the alphabet are never sick? You're correct. O and K. They're always okay. Thank you so much. All right, so we continue to wait on the deliberations, on the judges' results, that we can know where we stand.
Good afternoon, everyone. Debaters, they have given us a hard time. It was a wonderful match. And I have seen so much improvement since we started with the first round. And I have observed that our committee were taken on board. I noticed even with how we address our opponents this time, it was at a high position. As against some of the matches I've seen where, you know, it's kind of harsh and yes. So a very, very, very excellent match. And if you notice, it took us quite a while in our deliberations. That means to say we had much to deal with. I'm going to be more general than individual. But I must say, all six presenters did well. All six presenters did well. Let me start with the good research. We could see evidence on the flip side of that, you mentioned a loan credit, which for Manchester the property rule, I heard, yes, in the list of were some of the drawbacks I think that Holmwood had. For Knox now, Knox, you defined the terms, and you did define credit union, and that is very important. Good redefinition of the mood as well. Good opening remarks. You made your intention in terms of how you're going to attack the mood, knowing the strategies outlined. Very good. You had, yes, identified the difference between lower class and affluent. You made sure that we understood what the affluent want and what the lower class want. On the flip side, although you redefined the mood, it could have been a little better. The redefinition of the mood could have been a little clearer. Affluent, or the affluent does not need a loan. You made that point. However, if you had done some research, probably in terms of the borrowing pattern of the affluent, you would have come up with the fact that the affluent wants loan. They put their money in certain types of investments, but they borrow from the institutions to build their business. The research shows that. But we didn't get that out of your presentation. They are heavy borrowers. And yes, if they come to the credit union with their money, they would want loans. And that's your drawback. In terms of the rebuttal, I think, Knox, you tried to introduce some new argument in your rebuttal. I heard some things that we didn't hear in the beginning, but the rebuttal must be to attack what the other side said during the debate. Pick up their points. Pick up their points and attack it. Punch holes in their argument. And I want to hear from the first speaker of the opposing team rebutting. You can start rebutting the first speaker from the opposing team. You can start rebutting. And I heard you asking for point of information. That what you wanted to clarify. When you asked for point of information, you could have rebutted it when you come up to speak. Both teams did not do that as they could have. So for the future, try to do that. I gave a general that all of you did well. It was a very good match. And we saw substance. In terms of your eloquence, persuasion, pronunciation of words, use of language, pitch, and so on, I can talk. I must mention that this match, I was pleased with the level of eye contact. I was pleased. The last time, I had to talk about eye contact. You remember? Okay. The rebuttal. Again, Knox, that let you down. The rebuttal. Holmwood, that built you up. That rebuttal by Roy was very, very good. Excellent rebuttal, because I heard the points being taken up and addressed. Now, let's come down to the nitty-gritty, the important decision to be made. The judges deliberated long and looked at all the factors. And we came to the conclusion that the best speaker for this match is Theodore Henland from Holmwood. The first speaker, yes. And now to the scores. When we tallied, Knox amassed a score of 79.86, and Holmwood amassed a score of 87.03. And so, Holmwood moved to the final. Congratulations, Holmwood. Well done, Knox. And I know you will be coming back rebounding next year. Thank you very much, and see you, Holmwood, in the final. See you, man.
Thank you so much. Teams, could I invite you to just come to the front here and shake hands? Could you give the teams another round of applause? Thank you so much. It was indeed a wonderful match. And I'll allow it to settle in a little bit more. So there we have it, the results of our first match. Holmwood Technical coming out victors over Knox College. And these were indeed some wonderful points. And I am indeed proud of both teams. Thank you so much. It was a very exciting match. Now I invite you teams, Holmwood and Knox, please don't leave. Hope you don't have to leave. I invite you to stay behind. We will now have the next the next match. We'll go straight into the next match, which will be Belair High and Mayday High. So be reminded that this is the semi-final round. So therefore, the team that will be placed third, of course, will be the team that has the highest scoring points as the loser from today's matches. All right? So we invite both teams that just played to stay. All right. All right. I am going to allow us maybe like a 5-minute break. Persons might want to refresh themselves a little bit, so I'll allow you just 5 minutes. We have refreshment that just came in, so I'll allow you 5 minutes to have something to drink, to grab a bite, and then we start the next set of matches. So 5 minutes. Okay, great. So we want to welcome you back from that break, and we move straight into our next match, which is the final match in this semi-final round. So our match for today, our next match for today, will be between Mayday High and Belair High. Just to remind you of the rules of the competition, please be reminded, in terms of the times allotted, that the first speaker has 10 minutes, second speaker 8 minutes, third speaker 5 minutes, and your rebuttal 3 minutes. The chairperson or timekeeper, which is myself, will give a signal by raising of hand when there is 1 minute remaining to each speaker, and again at the end of the time allotted. Please be advised that no further signals will be given. A maximum of 5 additional scoring points may be awarded for team effort, so work together. The team of judges, in their sole discretion, can deduct points where the speakers exceed their time limit. So make use of your time, be wise with your time. Be reminded as well that the judge's decision is final. Thank you so much. And just to remind our viewers of the prizes that you will be vying for. First place, the team will receive a gadget and $15,000 to each team member. Coaches, $10,000 each, and the school, the coveted Mavis Campbell Trophy, and $35,000, sorry. Second place, the team will receive a gadget and $10,000 for each member of the team. Coaches, $8,000, and the school, second place plaque and $25,000. Third place, a gadget and $5,000 for each member of the team. Coaches, $5,000, and the school receive $20,000. And of course, our best speaker receives a best speaker trophy. All right, so now to the matter at hand. Mayday High will be opposing, Belair High will be proposing. So I invite my teams to take their seats at this time. Belair, you are proposing, so you will be on my left. Mayday, you are opposing, so you will be on my right. I am also going to ask the team members to introduce themselves right after I read the moot. So the moot to be debated. Be it resolved that the use of technology has given Jamaican credit unions a competitive advantage over other financial institutions. Moot again. Be it resolved that the use of technology has given Jamaican credit unions a competitive advantage over other financial institutions. I invite Belair to stand and introduce yourself, each member of your team, and then I'll invite Mayday to do the same. So we start with Belair.
Hello everyone, my name is Donna Wilson and I'm 16 years old. Hello everyone, my name is Leanne Robinson and I'm the second speaker. Hello, my name is Colleen Collins and I'm the third speaker for Belair.
Thank you so much, Belair. Mayday.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Crystal Clark, a proud reform student of the Mayday High School, where I serve as a deputy head girl. Thank you.
Thank you so much, teams. And so, as soon as the signal is given, then the first speaker from the proposing team will take the podium and we will get started.
Improving the quality life of their members and financing economic independence. providing a high level of financial services to members, offering competitive financial services to its members are just some of the core values of Jamaican credit unions. Judges, members of the opposition, audience, good afternoon. The proposition stands resolute in support of the motion put forward that the use of technology has given Jamaican credit unions a competitive advantage over other financial institutions. As the first speaker, I will begin my team stance by revealing to you that credit unions stands by their core values, and a huge part of their continued success is that they have immersed themselves in this technological era, thereby remaining relevant and competitive. My second speaker will outline how the credit union's loan possibilities and other services have evolved with the use of technology, thereby making them even more so relevant in the eyes of the target clientele. And lastly, my third speaker will be showing how the transformation of credit unions have tapped into the younger generation through the use of social media, hence keeping them relevant and superior to their target audience. Before I get into my substantives, I would like to define a few terms in the motion: credit union, technology, competitive, and advantage. A credit union, according to the businessdictionary.com, is a financial cooperative created for and by its members, who are its depositors, borrowers, and shareholders, and operates on a non-profit basis. Technology, according to the businessdictionary.com, is a purposeful application of information in the design, production, and utilization of goods and services, and in the organization of human activities. Competitive, according to the Oxford Dictionary, means as good as or better than others of a comparable nature. Lastly, advantage, according to dictionary.cambridge.org, is a condition giving a greater chance of success. Therefore, my worthy opponents, the moot restated is saying that organizations such as the JTA, Manchester Cooperative Credit Union, COK, and St. Elizabeth Cooperative Credit Union are as good as or even better than any other institution like the VMBS, JNBS, Scotia, NCB, especially with their comparable and superior use of alternative outreach avenues of a technological nature, helping people to succeed, not for profit, but for service. Is the truth of the credit unions across Jamaica. Yes, people like farmers, the fishermen, the police, the teachers, the poor and vulnerable man looking for someone to help them without tacking on exuberant fees and irrigorous penalties. Credit unions are like our friendly neighbors. They're friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Opposition members. They help the poor and smart from being gobbled up by the predatory banks who operate for the root of all evil, profit. Mr. Speaker, it is not news to us that institutions like NCB and VMBS only want to interact with you if you have something to offer them. So, the more money you have to invest or bank, a mammoth mortgage, or the more expensive the car you want to purchase, is the more valuable you are to these other financial institutions. But considering Jamaica's population, the mass of the people do not fall into any or maybe one of these categories, which means that the farmer looking to get a small loan, the teacher wanting to buy a little car, the police looking for better returns on the little change he has will more than likely turn to a credit union. Mr. Speaker, the credit unions have their niche market and have worked assiduously to take care of them. With easy access to the telephone, online services, ATM, and other technological means, they have embraced their target clientele and is outperforming the other financial institutions in these groups and areas. The Prime Minister, Mr. Holness, on JIS June 9, 2017, says that the credit unions movement has become such a formidable force that is now ranked as the largest membership organization in the country. Core value number 1, improving the quality of life of its members and financing economic independence. How have the credit unions maintained a competitive advantage with other financial institutions? My worthy opponents, communication is key and is the foundation for mergers and acquisition. Easy access to other institutions through a wide array of communicative means has boded well for the poor and working class. The people in this nation who would not benefit elsewhere because they have nothing to give these money-hungry, profit-making vipers. It is out of this access to mergers due to improved communication why projects like the microfinance loan program was birthed. Credit unions across the island intend to partner with the NHT to set up a microfinance loan program for low-income earners. According to the Jamaica Observer, on July 6, 2017, NHT contributors earning $30,000 weekly or less will be able to access credit of up to $1.5 million to help meet their respective housing needs. NHT said that the first agreement under the partnership was signed Friday, June 30th, with the Community and Workers of Jamaica Cooperative Credit Union, CNWJ, and agreements with other credit unions are to follow. NHT outlined that the interest rates attached are 6% for secure loans and 9% for unsecured loans. With such a great offer, these credit unions have to find with such great offers, these credit unions have to find access to the poor and deserving of this nation. And through advertising on the good old television and radio, this is done. Judges, the people who need to access these benefits more than likely are not afforded the luxury or may not live where they have access to the internet. So a simple phone call, a radio announcement, or a television ad will most likely get the job done. Not accepted. My aunt, having experienced other services from the CNWJ, is confident in the speed and quality service that will be provided, as through easier access to information, the workers will process these demands quickly. Credit unions like the COK Solidarity and MCCU even offer other products, such as individual health insurance and financial advisory services. COK offers medical insurance coverage for members, their families, offering coverage up to the age of 70. Our very own Manchester Cooperative Credit Union has partnered with Sagicure to offer health insurance. This partnership alone is a myriad of other services are advertised on most written, audio, and visual media through their online payment and salary deduction. Easy repayment options are available. Offering financial advice most times is done in the house, but it is not limited to such. As members of the opposition, the credit union loan officers and agents, armed with a wealth of information, often take to the road to get to those who can't get to them. They cover a wider base, considering they have motor vehicles and cellular phones. Two important things when considering who their niche market is: credit unions like the National Securities Employees Cooperative Credit Union accepted. Easy repayment options are available. Offering financial advice most times. Technology is being used. Like, did you not listen to my speech? They're using it to impact their members and their niche market. Let me continue. Cooperative Credit Union have a fully equipped mobile branch that travels across the island to see its members. This makes life easier and is more cost-effective and efficient for the members that they take the service to. Core value number 2, providing a high level of financial services to its members. Opposition, credit unions have better rates, lower fees, shared ATMs, as well as will be explored by my second speaker. Judges, not accepted. Judges, all of these benefits plus the use of technology gives credit unions an advantage when considering their target group. They have implemented features like internet banking, online loan calculators, and online live chat to make their members' lives easier. In an article titled Top 10 Reasons to Choose a Credit Union Over a Bank from Co-op Financial Services, it was said that credit unions combined with their neighborhood friendliness and access that is so hard to find elsewhere with the services and technologies people want most. One of the earliest credit union slogans was, not for profit, not for charity, but for service. And that philosophy holds true today. According to a JIS report on June 9, 2017, our Prime Minister, Mr. Holness, said that with 73 billion in savings, 64 billion in loans, and 95 billion in assets, it is clear that credit unions are a super powerful institution in Jamaica and have been meeting a clear demand. With this in mind, opposition members, obviously, the credit unions have found their niche and is using whatever technology they deem necessary to cater to them. Judges, members of the opposition. With all of that being said, the proposition pauses. According to a GIS report on June 9, 2017, our Prime Minister, Mr. Holness, said that with 73 billion in savings, 64 billion in loans, and 95 billion in assets, it is clear that credit unions are a super powerful institution in Jamaica and have been meeting their demand. With this in mind, opposition members, obviously, credit unions have found their niche and is using whatever technology they deem necessary. Judges, members of the opposition. With all of that being said, the proposition is
Credit unions are relevant and competitive, yes, but not because of the use of technology. And the use of social media is just one platform of utilizing technology. Let me remind you too that our debate is not about service, it is about technology. Better rates and lower fees, ridiculous and irrelevant to this moot. Ladies and gentlemen, adjudicators, my most worthy opponents and teammates, a pleasant afternoon to you all. My teammates and I stand resolute in the opposition of the moot. Be it resolved that the use of technology has given Jamaican credit unions a competitive advantage over other financial institutions. As the first speaker, it is my duty to set a boundary and correct the mistakes my opponents made, as well as shed some light on the misinformation they provided. Therefore, I will be outlining the technological systems utilized by financial institutions in comparison to those of credit unions. My second speaker will elaborate on internet banking, and my third speaker will concretize the points highlighted by myself and my second speaker, as well as elaborate on automated teller machines. But first, let me define a few key terms. According to the Jamaica Cooperative Credit Union League, credit unions are financial corporations similar to a bank, but owned and operated by its members and are often restricted to a local area or sometimes a single profession. According to the Cambridge Learner's Dictionary, technology is defined as a field of knowledge having to do with the practical application of science and industry, or the inventions and methods of solving problems that are produced through research in these areas. The Oxford English Dictionary defines advantage as any condition, circumstance, or means particularly favorable to success or to a desired end. Additionally, the Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines financial institution as a company dealing with monetary transactions such as deposits, loans, investments, and currency exchange, whilst the Webster's New World Pocket Dictionary defines competitive as being capable of competing successfully. Based on our understanding of these definitions, allow me to redefine the moot. The use of technology has not given credit unions a competitive edge above other financial establishments because many credit unions are still not using sufficient modern-day technology. The society has been dramatically changed with the evolution of technology. Before the advent of modern-day technology, life was burdensome and everyday tasks consumed too much of our time. Immense opportunities are being provided by technologies which play an important role in human life. The access to education, medicine, industry, and transportation have been simplified due to modern-day technology. Due to the conveniences and efficiencies provided by technology, our lives have improved significantly. There used to be a time when executing a simple task such as paying bills or opening an account would take an entire day. But thanks to modern technology, a lot of the burden has been lifted up from our shoulders and we have more time and energy to do what we really want to. In fact, in November 2017, the National Commercial Bank has steered the wheel of technology as they introduced a digital account opening solution that will reduce the time customers spend opening an account with the bank. The solution leverages in branch tablets and OCR technology, which allows the bank to automatically populate some customer data field based on the information from their valid national identification. Nadine Matthews, Chief Digital and Marketing Officer of NCB, said, "Empowering customers with faster, simpler solutions to their banking needs and removing pain points are the keys to improving the customer's banking experience. This new technology has reduced the waiting time of customers, and I guarantee that you will not see this digital account opening solution at any Jamaican credit union. This, my fellow opponents, this is what you call a competitive advantage, not accepted at this time." The Jamaica Gleaner published an article on June 30, 2017 that highlighted the fact that Scotiabank started the rollout of free Wi-Fi to its network of 32 branches across the island. In fact, as a team, we journeyed to the Scotiabank branch in Mandeville, and a few customers were using the Wi-Fi service to check their accounts and complete other tasks on various websites. A student of NCU expressed that she often benefits from the Wi-Fi access as she uses it to access her Scotia account and even complete her assignments. The banks continue to identify innovative ways of making technology work to the benefit of their customers, as well as to enhance their operational efficiency. Yannick Forbes-Patrick, Vice President of Marketing at Scotiabank, said,
that with the Wi-Fi in different branches, customers will be able to use their mobiles to log on to Scotia Online, download the Scotia mobile banking app, or simply browse the web for their own purposes. My opponents, which credit union do you know that offers free Wi-Fi access to customers? Absolutely none. When we talk about technology allowing for competitive advantage, it is clear that other financial institutions are far ahead of credit unions. Their limited use of modern technology cannot have given them a competitive advantage over other financial institutions, as credit unions are not utilizing technology enough to make themselves competitive. If you had a question about security, I must hastily say that to maintain high security standards, the Wi-Fi is powered by Scotiabank's information and technology team. The Jamaica National Bank has initiated personalized debit cards, which allows customers to stand out with their cards. They have the option of choosing from a list of nature-based photos, entertainment stock images, and Jamaican cultural symbols, or their own to make their debit card original and personal. Customers have the option of signing up online or visiting a branch to complete the process. Once your debit card is ready, it can be pinned and linked to your JN bank account, which will allow you to use the card immediately to access your funds at ATMs and point of sales machines. Furthermore, with financial institutions like Scotia, the employers can save time as Scotia offers direct deposit service, which offers employers to make payroll deposits electronically in each employee's account. Save time and money by avoiding the cost of check handling, printing, and reconciliation. Not accepted at this time. This method increases productivity since employees won't have to visit their bank branch during working hours to cash checks. It also enhances security for your company and your employees by eliminating the possibility of lost or stolen checks. My worthy opponents, most credit unions have only one IT specialist to monitor accounts to prevent scamming. However, other financial institutions have put proper support in place to prevent fraud. Scotiabank, Jamaica National, and the National Commercial Bank have specific departments with a number of employees specifically employed to monitor customers' accounts to prevent unscrupulous activities. How can you say that technology has given Jamaica credit unions a competitive advantage over other financial institutions when they don't even have sufficient IT specialists to manage customers' accounts to prevent fraudulent activities? If my misguided opponents are of the view that credit unions' use of technology gives them a competitive advantage over other financial institutions, then it is evident, my opponents, that you have not done your research. We feel it is pertinent to shed light and to ensure that our opponents do not leave here today without sufficient information, because it would be a shame if these preposterous claims made by the proposition got released to the public. My misguided opponents, are you even aware that on November 8, 2017, Jamaica National rolled out smart ATMs with e-deposit capabilities across its banking network, covering 30 locations in Jamaica? The machine allows persons to make cash deposits to any JN bank account without the need of a debit card. Cardless banking is a growing global trend and offers increased security for users. For cardless deposits, JN customers can have access to their funds in real time. To make lodgements, customers enter the account number to which the funds are being deposited. Not accepted at this time. Then enter their phone number. A text message is also sent to the cell phone of the account holder once the deposit has been made. My ill-advised opponents, which credit union do you know in Jamaica that offers these services provided by these other financial institutions? None at all. How then can you stand here and propose such ridiculous and baseless claims? It seems as if a figment of your imagination has gone wild, my opponents, because you felt the need to come here in the house of God, right here at the Church of God of Prophecy on Levy Lane, and utter such erroneous and false claims. It baffles the opposition that a school built on such high morals would share such false claims. We, the opposition, stand firm and resolute in our stance, based on thorough research, that the use of technology has not given credit unions a competitive edge above other financial establishments, simply because research has shown that credit unions are the most backward institutions as it relates to technology. Ladies and gentlemen, my obviously uneducated and unresearched opponents and teammates, the opposition pauses. It baffles the opposition that a school built on such high morals would share such false claims.
We, the opposition, stand firm and resolute in our stance based on thorough research that the use of technology has not given credit unions a competitive edge above other financial establishments, simply because research has...
Judges, members of the opposition, audience, good afternoon. The proposition remains resolute in support of the motion put forward that the use of technology has given Jamaican credit unions a competitive advantage over other financial institutions. As my first speaker stated, I will outline how the credit union's loan possibilities and other services have evolved with the use of technology, thereby making them even more so relevant in the eyes of their target clientele. What gives credit unions a competitive advantage over other financial institutions when they have billions in profits annually paid to their stakeholders? Just that. Credit unions are for the people, people helping people. According to an article in the Jamaica Gleaner published on October 20, 2016, titled, Why Use a Credit Union? Credit unions conventionally pass on savings to their members because of their status of being member-owned and being not-for-profit. This is done through their entire product line, which offers customers higher rates on savings accounts and lower rates on loans. Profits from credit unions are generally returned to their members in three forms: reduced fees, higher dividends on deposits, and lower loan rates. Remember, opposition, technology as defined by my first speaker is the purposeful application of information in the design, production, and utilization of goods and services. Therefore, the use of technology automatically gives them the competitive edge, since the design of their products and services are already on top of the line and seemingly supersedes other financial institutions. Beyond banking perks, another technological advantage of credit unions over other financial institutions. Judges, credit unions are notorious for offering other products such as financial and advisory services and the family indemnity plan, which is a group insurance plan that provides funeral expense coverage to members and eligible family members with 6 coverage options according to the individual's preference, with monthly payments as low as $422.40. All credit unions have their target membership, their common bond. FHC, for example, as one of its bond, all members of any religious bodies and affiliation in Jamaica as their families or relatives. Now, religious bodies generally have people from all walks of life, some without any formal employment that would enable them to access or be knowledgeable of products and services available to them. However, through fulfillment of one of their mission statements, which is responding to the needs of the community within the framework of the cooperative structure, FHC, like other credit unions, would participate in community events, use their technological advances such as electronic billboards, flyers, and posters for the general public. Now imagine your 60-year-old grandma who works as a live-in helper stopping by such an exhibition, learns of the family indemnity plan, signs up, and from then has some money she can posthumously contribute to her funeral expenses. That's the kind of technology credit unions use to give them a competitive advantage over other financial institutions, my opponents. They create products and services which meet their members where they are. Though credit unions tend to be smaller than banks with a few branches or just one that they have, they have ATMs available, and cards associated with credit unions are multi-link cards, which means their cards can be used as commercial banks' ATMs. I would have you know, opposition, that this technological service offered by credit unions far outweigh that of cards, that's of much larger player in the financial industry, JMMB. They use ETM cards according to their websites that can only be used in an express transaction machine. ETM, which are generally located on-site JMMB institutions, not accepted. Just imagine being in dire need of cash after banking hours in an area where there is no ETM. By the way, there are only 14 machines like that in Jamaica, one of which is in Mandeville, just one. There are more than 14 multi-link machines in Mandeville alone. Credit unions have technology solutions to keep them in compliance with the federal regulations regarding member data and transactions, along with security and privacy. Their solution is to find technology that can serve their membership more efficiently, comply with regulations, all the while maintaining a budget. Credit unions are finding creative ways to use technology to accomplish those three goals at once. Skip the lines to transfer funds, request checks and check accounts. A tagline on the homepage of Educom Credit Union. This credit union was born out of the merger A Square M Square. UE Credit Union and recently St. Catherine Credit Union now has a broad common bond which includes all persons who have been enrolled in any educational institution. This credit union listens to its members and creates technological advances to suit its members. Educom has introduced many technological advances, chief of which is their service which allows Educom to transact business on their members' behalf, based on the request given either by telephone, fax, or email. Opposition. Which other financial institution allows such technological convenience to its members? No, its customers. Before you get all heated in discussions about fraud and such, please note that members first sign in an authority and indemnity form which would provide all relevant data of the member and the medium they will use to make their request. Opposition. I once again remind you that Jamaican credit unions do have a competitive advantage over other financial institutions. Transaction requests by telephone, fax, or email is a competitive advantage. This service makes them more favored among their members. No opposition. We could not enter this debate without acknowledging the many technologies available to customers of the other financial institutions, for example, NCB. Yes, there's Quicks and GKMPay. But do you know that Jamaica's credit unions were the first to introduce this cutting-edge technology, the Connect mobile wallet? Not accepted. According to an article in the Gleaner, published November 29, 2017, the former president of the JCCUL, Glenworth Francis, stated that the mobile money service was the first to market, having started out as JCUEs in 2013. It has since been joined by Quicks from the NCE Financial Group and GKMPay, offered by the Grace Kennedy Group. What are we saying here, opponents? Jamaica's credit unions have been innovators, have led the way in this technological regard, thus giving them a competitive advantage over other financial institutions. The proposition pauses. According to an article, the former president of the JCCUL, Glenworth Francis, stated that the mobile money service was the first to market, having started out as JCUEs in 2013. It has since been joined by Quick from the NCE Financial Group and GKMPay, offered by the Grace Kennedy Group. What are we saying here, opponents? Jamaica's credit unions have been innovators, have led the way in this technological regard, thus giving them a competitive advantage over other...
Be it resolved that the use of technology has given credit unions a competitive advantage over other financial institutions. Technology, my opponents, technology is the key word in this mood. Adjudicators, teachers, ladies and gentlemen, teammates, and my fellow opponents, a pleasant afternoon to you all. I am side opposition's second speaker, here to enforce our belief that the use of technology has given credit unions a competitive advantage above other financial institutions. Again, we wholeheartedly oppose this resolution. In my speech today, I will elaborate upon the side opposition contentions which prove why this resolution must stand. I must re-emphasize that the use of technology has not given credit union a competitive edge above other financial establishments because many credit unions are still not using sufficient modern-day technologies. On this glorious day, Mr. Speaker, as the second speaker, I will be going in great details with two key points that my first speaker has already highlighted: internet banking and wire transfer. But before I shed light on my opponents who might be stuck in the industrial era, I must make one thing extremely clear. I do not wish to be plagued in the very first minute of my speech, my fellow opponents, as you not only need to listen keenly, but to also follow me out of the Stone Age and walk in the era in undoubtedly deemed as the information and digital age, where the use of technology has not given credit unions a competitive edge above other financial institutions. Many credit unions are still not using modern day technology. Fellow opponents, without technology, how could a credit union or commercial bank possibly effectively and efficiently meet the needs of customers? Technology has enhanced the service quality in many financial institutions, of which the credit union is not one. I would never stand here as the second speaker and dismiss the mere fact that the credit union do use technology. But are they even up to date? Don't let this question baffle you, my opponents. As I stand here like Moses, I will lead you to nothing but the truth. Credit unions do not do wire transfers, while just about every other financial institution does. There is no need to visit a bank branch to do what you want to do when you can do it at your own convenience, my opponents, with internet banking. Internet banking gives you the ability to manage money online with your mobile device or computer. Money is increasingly electronic. Some people still use cash, but other forms of payment have become more popular. Why? They can be easier to use. They are free or inexpensive, and they are better for tracking spending and more accessible. It is an immutable fact that the commercial bank play a meaningful role in this evolution. Take Scotia Bank for a prime example. Scotia Online makes everyday banking faster and easier. It's the secure way to manage your money 24/7 from anywhere you have an internet connection. It gives you the convenient option to look at your account activity not accepted. Many manage your accounts, pay bills, make transfers, top up mobile and online shopping. With Scotia Online, you can manage virtually all your banking needs from any computer with internet access. It's safe, secure, and available to anyone with a Scotia card, Visa debit card, or Scotia Bank credit card. I'm not here to make horrendous claims, my opponents, but to enlighten your seemingly darkness with the truth. A simple thing as paying a bill can be done from the comfort of your humble abode, from either NCB, not accepted, or Scotia Bank with their online banking and your smartphone, which about everybody owns. Instead of writing checks, which cost money to pay bills, your bank can simply do a bank transfer to your account, to your creditor's account, to take care of your expenses monthly. Did you even know it's also possible to transfer money to your pay electronically? All public sector workers and most other employees must have a commercial account to receive their salaries, and those with only a credit union account had to open commercial accounts to receive their salaries. Speak to any public sector worker and they will confirm this fact. Unfortunately, my opponent, I can't say the same for Educom, COK, Jamaica's Credit Union, and let's not forget the Manchester Cooperative Credit Union. So, the customer service experience is not seamless as a credit union customer who wish to pay their bills plus do other transactions with the credit union, which would have to utilize two different platforms to complete tasks, when if they were using Scotia, NCB, or Jamaica National Bank, which could complete two transactions on one platform. Did you even know, my opponents, that with JNB, Scotia, NCB, First Caribbean, or First Global, you can transfer to other financial institutions? Let it be known also that online banking is typically considered safer than traditional banking. Having your pay directly deposited into your bank account eliminates the risk of someone stealing your checks from the mail or picking your pockets after you have cashed it. Plus, nobody can copy your account information from checks that you have sent to billers when the bank computers send information back and forth securely. Not accepted. If fraud or internet theft occurs to the bank has drafted a security software to protect your privacy interest pins, and in an event someone breaks into your account, the bank will reimburse you as opposed to if someone picked your pocket. The use of technology in a commercial institution transcends the service of credit unions in that they take banking beyond our shores to other countries. Other states granting access to international financial opportunities. You are not restrained to Jamaica. You cannot only check your account but also have access to international investment opportunities that allows you to extend your financial portfolio in ways that you might not be available to locally. My opponents, I'm not sure if you are aware of how fast society is evidently moving. So fast that we have buried even the very idea of sit and wait. Instead of join the line to speak to a representative, you can sit at home and get all information that you need. It simply brings about a sense of ease, my fellow opponents. You are not inconveniencing what I'm trying to say. Traditionally, a passbook is used for accounts with a low transaction volume, such as a saving account. A bank teller or postmaster would write by hand the date and the amount of transaction, the updated balance, and enter his or her initials. Sound like an episode of the Flintstone. I had the utmost pleasure with speaking with a member from the Trelawney Cooperative Credit Union, Miss Shelley Campbell. She was rather displeased about having to use the passbook. She said to me, the other banks have transcended passbooks. You can go online and check your account. I don't even understand the credit union's passbook. It is so confusing. They need to step up their game, man. At the commercial banks, there's an availability of e-statement, which is any information related to your account goes to your email. You have a greater chance, my opponents, of keeping abreast with what is going on with your financial assets. With your e-statement, you have a much more permanent access record, whereas the passbook can be lost and can cause a lot of inconvenience. I have stated enough facts and testimonial to solidify my opponents that the use of technology has not given credit unions a competitive edge above other financial institutions. I rest my case. With your e-statement, you have a much more permanent access record, whereas the passbook can be lost and can cause a lot of inconvenience. I have stated enough facts and testimonies.
Judges, opponents, audience, good morning. We, the proposition, stand resolute in the stance that technology has given Jamaica Credit Union a competitive advantage over the financial institution. My first speaker outlined that credit unions stand by their core values, and a huge part of their continued success is that they immerse themselves in the technical era, thereby remaining relevant and competitive. My second speaker outlined the credit union loan possibilities and other services have involved in the use of technology, thereby making them even more so relevant in the eyes of the target clientele. And as third speaker, I will further show how the transformation of credit union have tapped into the younger generation through the use of social media. Social media play a huge role in the lives of our younger generation, and as a result, credit unions are now utilizing this method to have a relationship with them. Social media proved to be an important avenue in reaching new audience. Marketing became more target-based as the information gathered through these platforms. According to CNN, young people spend 9 hours a day on social media for their own benefit. Financial institutions usually think this is necessary to grab the young people, as they form almost 40% of the individuals who will have a need of a bank account. Credit unions have said and are maintaining a great presence on social media. According to the article, 10 social media tips for banks and credit unions published by the financial brand Not Accepted. 3 out of 4 is credit unions, and social media is important, but many financial institutions are just going through motions. They often post content on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and so on, but they're not using the strategy. Content quality is important for banks and credit unions using technology, and credit unions have been using this method better than the other financial institutions. Individuals on social media may skip out an advertisement if it's usually too long or uninteresting, we believe credit unions recognize this and have ensured that their ads are no longer too long on these social media sites. For example, opponents, the property loan advertisement for Montego Bay Cooperative Credit Union only took a total of 16 seconds with a viewership of over 391 persons. However, NCB had an advertisement about a similar product. It was 31 seconds with a viewership of 196 persons. With that, we say credit unions are using technology, social media to remain relevant and competitive. Judges, not accepted. There is another social media feature that Jamaican credit unions are tapping into, which is keeping them relevant and competitive. Holy smokes, into which is keeping them relevant and competitive. Holy smokes, here's how this works. After reading a post or a tweet, how likely is someone to say, holy smokes, or other shocked expression? Holy smokes, content equals social media success. On Facebook, the Jamaican National members' reaction to the JN Visa card post was very low with a view of 35%, while the Manchester Cooperative has a total view of 538 for their ATL automotive sale advertisement. They say members don't lie, judges, and based on these credit union numbers are doing exactly to be competitive. These methods were taken from the Financial Brand articles entitled How the World's Biggest Credit Union Uses Technology. Judges, opponents, these aren't the only factors that help credit union when it comes onto social media. People love to hear the stories and experience of others before they choose to do business with any financial institutions. CEO accepted. Why would a 16-year-old want to go to a credit union and borrow their loan? That's why they would have the parents to assist them with their financial problems, if they have any. I will continue. CEO and co-founder of the Social Assurance, Ben Ponnock, states that when we share the stories of our lives, communities and small businesses being changed, it is exciting. The credit unions have reviews from members that talk about their experience. Pauline Francis Gray has this to say about the Portland Cooperative Credit Union. Portland is my ride or die financial institution. They always find a way to assist my financial needs. They are second to none. If you're not a member, it's time to become a member. Lastly, credit unions are competitive with financial institutions on social media as they maintain a customer support that is responsive to their messages. An article in the Credit Union Journal entitled 5 Ways Credit Union Can Use Social Media to Be Socially Active reveals that the credit union here in Jamaica take a shorter time to respond to individuals' messages on social media as stated on the JPS and Partners Credit Union. We believe, judges, that credit unions have stayed competitive and have an edge over the financial institutions. Through this, their use of technology is competitive. The opposition rests. As they maintain a customer support that is responsive to their messages. An article in the Credit Union Journal entitled 5 Ways Credit Union Can Use Social Media to Be Socially Active reveals that the credit union here in Jamaica take a shorter time to respond to individuals' messages on social media as stated on the JPS and Partners Credit Union. We believe, judges, that credit unions have
Opponents, I would like to counter your argument by saying the moods are not to be confused so limited to the physical availability, but the ability to use technology efficiently by customers. Ladies and gentlemen, adjudicators, fellow opponents, and my most worthy teammates, a pleasant afternoon to you all. As the third speaker, it is my solemn duty to concretize the points addressed by my fellow teammates. The entire atmosphere of banking has changed. Banks are adapting to the changes and advances in technologies too. However, credit unions, though they are trying to enhance banking through their use of technology, they are still below the level attained by other financial institutions. Mr. Speaker, a prime example is with the automated teller machine, commonly known as an ATM, which is an electronic telecommunications device that enables customers of financial institutions to perform financial transactions such as cash withdrawals, deposits, transfer of funds, or obtain account information at any time and without the need for direct interaction with bank staff. Many credit unions, such as Educom and Manchester Cooperative Credit Union, limit customers to only withdrawing money and lodging money with the use of envelopes. When the money is lodged, the customers have to wait until the bank representative updates the account to see the reflection. This process can be tedious. If the bank is closed, you would have to wait until the following day before it is reflected. However, with other financial institutions such as Scotia, NCB, once the money is lodged to the account, the customer's account is updated immediately, regardless of the time. My opponents, this is what you call competitive advantage. Why should I wait hours before I'm able to see lodgements made at an ATM to my account when other financial institutions have immediate access? Let's not kid ourselves that the use of technology has given credit unions a competitive edge above other financial establishments because many credit unions are still not using modern-day technology. In fact, credit unions provide cards with chips. The chip is a microprocessor that contains added risk features and security keys that create multi-layered defense against fraud. But many of the ABM machines used by credit unions cannot read these cards because the machines are not up to date as they are still using the software of yesteryears. How can technology be used in one area and lack support in another? Why implement the use of chips in cards of ATMs and are not made readily available for customers? Competitive advantage, you say? Additionally, according to the Jamaica Cooperative Credit Union League, credit unions across Jamaica have approximately 39 ATM locations. The National Commercial Bank has outlined on their website that they have 119 ATMs in Jamaica, and Scotiabank has a whopping 142 ATMs island-wide. Other financial institution ATMs are conveniently located throughout the country to allow easy access to your money day or night. However, the same utterance cannot be expressed for credit unions, as ATMs are what we call a rare commodity, as they lack the resources to increase the number of ATMs available to customers. My opponents, you claim that because of technology, credit unions are at a competitive advantage. Then how it is that they lack the necessary technological resources to make themselves more competitive? My opponents, were you aware that with Scotiabank, you can withdraw cash and get account balances through a network of ATMs in Jamaica, displaying the multi-link one symbol, and in more than 130 countries worldwide at ATMs displaying the circle symbol. You can travel the world and get free access to over 35,000 global alliances. Are you even aware that the Scotiabank provides free access to larger ATM network in Jamaica and allows you to deposit funds to your account, check accounts, and I could go on and on. My deluded opponents, do not get this twisted by sidetracking other financial institution technological ability to outrun the credit unions. I don't know if you have been living under a rock or you're from a Flintstone age, but it is quite clear that you yourself do not know what technology is. So how then can you utter such biased information that technology has given Jamaican credit unions a competitive advantage over other financial institutions when the use of technology is insufficient? The opposition pauses. Technological ability to outrun the credit union. I don't know if you have been living under or rock, or you're from a Flintstone age. But it is quite clear that
misleading information and inaccurate research is all we have heard from the proposition today. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Credit unions, my opponents, do utilize technology, yes, but they do not utilize as much technology as other financial institutions, and therefore it cannot be said that technology has given them a competitive advantage. We would never stand here today and say that credit unions do not use technology. But the real question is, does the credit union's use of technology give them a competitive advantage over other financial institutions? Well, ladies and gentlemen, adjudicators, and my seemingly ill-advised opponents, it does not. Technology has become the core feature for many business successes in the globe. IT applications are mostly used to help organizations to do its day-to-day work and gain a competitive advantage to meet other business objectives. To develop a competitive advantage, credit unions must possess value-creating activities which cannot be duplicated by any other organization. Basically, all the technological advances that credit unions currently use have been used by other financial institutions, and these financial institutions have left credit unions staggering in the race because they have upgraded many of their services and improved the technological means by which they deliver the service to the customers. The use of technology by financial institutions such as the Bank of Nova Scotia, the National Commercial Bank, and Jamaica National not only promotes convenience to customers, but opens the avenue by which the service is accessible to them. We were gathered here today, my opponents, to debate the moot. Be it resolved that the use of technology has given Jamaican credit unions a competitive advantage over other financial institutions, and we, the opposition, are still yet to hear a valid reason why you propose such claims. Note briefly, my opponents, that the operative word in this moot is is and not could. Therefore, we are not debating about the availability of technology, but the usability of technology that currently exists. You also claim that credit unions' use of web pages or social media are more interactive. However, you lack substantial evidence to support these claims. Also, credit unions' web page lack the options of paying bills and transferring money online. They are not even able, my opponents, to electronically top up mobile phones. Is this your definition of competitive advantage? Let's be factual, my opponents. If credit unions are not maximizing on the use of modern-day technology, how can it give them a competitive advantage? Does that make any sense to you? I implore you to go back to the drawing board, or better yet, side with us in saying the use of technology has not given credit unions an edge, as they still have a far way to go in enhancing and expanding their use of technology to improve their services. Ladies and gentlemen, the opposition rests.
Judges, my worthy opponents, audience, good afternoon. Your first speaker said that the better rates, lower fees, and better customer service offered by the credit union are irrelevant, but this, along with the use of technology, gives them a competitive edge. She then said that technology has helped to save our time, and we, the proposition, totally agree. After all, this is why credit unions have implemented online banking and online forms and online membership forms. She also stated that credit unions only have one IT specialist, but that is not so. Did you know that Manchester Cooperative Credit Union has an IT department with a team dedicated to look for new ways they can use technology? Finally, she said that cards given by the JN can be used at any ATM, but cards given by the credit union have the same feature. Your second speaker told us that credit unions do not use modern-day technology. But my opponents, what kind of technology did they use to create online banking and the use of ATMs? My opponents, your second speaker said that we do not use technology. But he then contradicted himself when he started to list all the ways credit unions use technology to benefit its members. Your third speaker told us that credit unions have 39 ATMs in Jamaica. But are you aware that cards given by the credit unions can be used at any, and I mean any, multi-link ATM? Lastly, while you might get easy access, are you aware that you are charged for this? And this charge gives Scotia banks 16% of their profits. With all of that being said, the opposition, right? When you start to do this, all the ways credit unions use technology to benefit.
Thank you so much, teams. Could you put your hands together once again for the teams? And again, I will not say a word. I will wait on the judges to go and deliberate and come back with their points and their findings and ultimately the scores. Thank you so much for being such good sports and for doing a wonderful job with this topic. So, while we wait on the judges to deliberate and to get back to us, I will give away a few, maybe 2 more prizes using our trivia that we have been using from day. So let us see if we can find some more questions to ask or some more riddles. Thank you so much for being such a good sport. And the first riddle. Why did the donkey go over the mountain? Let me get my prizes. Why did the donkey go over the mountain? The judges to deliberate and to get back to us. I will give away a few, maybe 2 more prizes using our trivia that we have. Any answers for me? Why did the donkey go over the mountain? To carry goods? No, sir, not at all. Go over the mountain. You can answer still, you know, so. If you think you know the answer. Why did the donkey go over the mountain? Simple. Because he cannot go underneath it. Congratulations. Come for your prize. Because he cannot go underneath it. So he has to go over. I told you, you know, that these riddles are as simple as possible, as very simple as possible. Congratulations. All right, so next 2, I still have 2 more prizes that I need to give away. Go over the mountain. All right. If you think you know the answer, why did the donkey go over the mountain? And some people probably know this one, you know. My mother have a pretty house, but only one stick hold it up. My mother have a pretty house, but only one stick hold it up. No, not a lollipop. And the teachers cannot answer. Yes, my debaters are still here. My mother have a pretty house, only one stick hold it up. No. No. My mother have a pretty house. Yes. That's an umbrella. Only one stick holds up an umbrella, right? Congratulations. You are welcome. And for my final prize. My grandfather have a rope in his yard, and every day the rope grow longer. My grandfather have a rope in his yard, and every day the rope grow longer. What is that? A vine. Yes. It's a vine. So it's either a yam vine or a pumpkin vine or the melon vine. A vine. It's in the yard and it grows longer every day. Thank you so much, debaters. So now we will await the judges' final scores. There are still some refreshments, so if you didn't get a chance to have something, you may do so now. Thank you so much, debaters. So now we will await comments, or if you didn't get a chance to have something you made.
sees my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight.
Good afternoon, everybody. We have had another very good match. You gave us some hard decisions to make, but thankfully we have been able to make the decisions. As I said, a good match. And in so saying, we have seen the spirit of the debate, the enthusiasm that you brought to the match, and the research that you have done. Now let us look at some of the good points and some of the not so good points. I'll give it more general than individual. Belair, you proposed the moot. A very good moot. The emphasis is on technology, the use of technology. And that is very important for us to interpret the moot. The use of technology. That is key. For Belair, you defined most of the key terms in the moot and restated the moot. That was good. You outlined your strategies, how you are going to present your argument, who is going to present what aspect of your argument to support what you consider as important in this mood. I note that you emphasized that the credit union is more for service than for profit, as what the banks are for, profit. You have emphasized some of the areas in which the credit union is using technology, like in the mobile unit and with electronic billboards, etc. Your rebuttal was fairly good, Belair. In terms of language, you use appropriate language, was quite good. Cogency, quite good. Refutation could have been a little better. You need to start refute from the second speaker on the proposing side. We needed to get more of that. I note the third speaker did some refutation. Pronunciation of words, use of the language, the pitch, the modulation, control and emphasis, but I still need to see a little more life in some presentation. In terms of the not so strong points, you did not define financial institution. I didn't hear it. And that needs to be defined. You did not present enough statistics to support the fact that you are saying that the credit unions using technology has caused a competitive advantage over the other financial institutions. We needed to get more statistics in terms of what technology the credit union is using and how is it helping them. For example, the online banking, more statistics, how many persons are using online banking with the credit union as against the other commercial banks, the Facebook page, the Twitter, the Instagram, all of these things, because it's available, don't it? It's available, and we need, this is a moot that requires statistics, because it is not saying whether you are using technology or not. It is saying that how much of it is being used to create that advantage over or not to create that advantage. So the competitive advantage needed to be brought out some more, and not just the fact that the credit union is using it. For Mayday, you also defined the terms, and it was good because you defined all the terms in the moot. And you restated the moot as well. You gave your outline as to how all of you will approach the moot, what each person is going to present. There's some research. You spoke about the bank's technology, the bank using the technology. The third speaker from Belair, from Mayday, gave some statistics, which was good, like the number of ATMs, yes, that the credit unions have, NCB, Scotiabank. You could have gone a little further to say how these institutions use them. To what extent are they using them? You know? You have to look at a moot and determine whether it requires a lot of statistics or it can be opinionated, more opinion, more perception than statistics. For Belair, why am I saying Belair? No. For Mayday, your rebuttal was good. I know too that you made mention of the fact that other financial institutions have superior IT infrastructure than credit unions. That was a good injection. As I said, the rebuttal was good, and you presented your argument in a very cogent way. Your rebuttal was good. Some of the not so good points that you presented. You said credit unions do not use online banking, but credit unions do use online banking. What they are not using is the online banking enough. Yeah, I do online banking with the credit union, and many of us do. So you needed more statistics as well. There should be more statistics in your presentation. All in all, your language eloquence, your persuasion, your control and emphasis, fairly good. More eye contact still. Yes, still need more eye contact from all of you. And let us get that in the future. I see a level of confidence from both sides. And it goes well for the future, whatever you are going to do. Now, let's come to the crucial decision that we as judges have to make, and that is to decide which one of you go forward. Best speaker. The best speaker, in our opinion, is Tafari Sewell from Mayday. And the scores now, Belair amassed a total of 78.22 points. And Mayday amassed a total of 83.44 points. And so, Mayday will move on to the final of this competition. Congratulations, Mayday, well done. Belair, and hope to see you again, and all of you will be at the final. Thank you very much. Very good day.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rattray. I ask the teams please to shake hands. Thank you. Thank you so very much. So that would mean that Knox, Ms. Duaney, that would mean that Knox would be third based on points, because you would have been the highest points. We invite all the teams back to finals. Please, we invite all the teams back to finals. The final match will be on the 13th of April at the Mandeville Hotel, beginning at 10. So we invite all teams to the finals on the 13th at Mandeville Hotel. Thank you so very much, and congratulations to the teams. Thank you.
Audio check 1 3 1 3 1 3. Come in Vanaya ranking. Come in, make a cut a tune. Come a cut a tune. Today are Thursday, tomorrow are Friday, yesterday are Wednesday. Me no know which day I come after that, but which day come after that.
Walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Feeling like a dynamite, ready to explode right up in the sky. I need you to listen, I need you to hear, and don't show any fear. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. I'm walking walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Feel like a dynamite, ready to explode right up in the sky. I need you to listen, I need you to hear, and don't show any fear. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. I'm walking alone.